Hey guys, this is Tobias from Germany. Welcome to my channel. I'm really happy that you found this channel if you're not from Germany, because this podcast has existed for a few years now, but it has only had German episodes, and I finally made up my mind to do some episodes in English. I hope my English is understandable for you. I know I have a very strong German accent. I'm trying to be better, but maybe the practice of doing this podcast is helping me improving my English skills a little bit. But what is this podcast all about? It's called Strandkorbgedöns. Strandkorbgedöns is obviously a German word, and it's about, Strandkorb is a beach basket. I'm really not sure if you have those in other countries, but in Germany they are very popular. I think in Denmark they are as well. They are, little shelters on the beach that you can sit in to shield yourself, to seek cover from too strong sunlight, from wind and from rain and things like that, just to relax in there. And this podcast is a lot about relaxation, enjoying yourself and having a good time. It is not about being a better person, because I believe that every person on this planet is already a good person and there's nothing to improve at all. On a philosophical level, of course. But it's not about improving anything. It's just about having a good time and to enjoying yourself, really. And I have to talk about that. It's also about smoking. In this case, smoking the pipe and smoking cigars. I'm really not into cigarettes. I don't like them. But it's about smoking the pipe and smoking cigars. And that's why this disclaimer is necessary in the beginning. I'm not doing a disclaimer at the beginning of every episode, and I'm not going to put, some kind of disclaimer that smoking is hazardous into every description of any video or podcast series I do. I'm just saying this once because I believe there is not a single person in this world that has been born on planet Earth and has never heard about smoking being hazardous and dangerous for your health. I think you all know that. But Gedöns, that's the second part of the word Strandkorbgedöns, is some, German slang word for stuff. So it's about stuff you do when you are in a beach basket. And that might be smoking, but there are a lot of other things that help you having a good time and enjoying yourself. For example, coffee, different kinds of coffee and tea, and listening to music and philosophical issues and questions and things like that. Reading comics or reading novels and books. It's about anything that helps you enjoy your life. And I want to come to that smoking thing in the beginning. Yeah, as I already said, you probably all know that smoking is not a good idea if you are aiming towards living a long and healthy life. If you are aiming to live long, don't smoke. You know that smoking will not help you achieve that goal. In any case, there have been discussions about if smoking the pipe or smoking cigars is less hazardous than smoking cigarettes. I still believe that it is, but the evidence speaks against that. There is, I have read a quite recently published article about smoking in different forms, and it says that in the end, smoking cigarettes and smoking cigarettes and smoking the pipe and smoking cigars are all they are all comparable in regards to being hazardous to you. If you smoke cigarettes, you have a very high risk of developing lung cancer. If you smoke cigars regularly, your risk of developing lung cancer is still elevated, but not as much elevated as when you're smoking cigarettes. But the risk of developing head and neck cancer is, on the other hand, really high if you smoke cigars and the pipe regularly. So in the end, your probability to die earlier is probably as high when you smoke the pipe and smoke cigars than when you're smoking cigarettes. There is, on the other hand, evidence that using smokeless tobacco, like dip in the United States or snus in Sweden, is much less harmful. And I do believe that it is like that. And there is really no evidence that taking snuff, snortable tobacco, is in any way hazardous, apart from, of course, having a stuffed up nose if you do that regularly. But it's really not hazardous or dangerous to your life when you use snuff. But smoking is a different story. And I want to suggest to you that you do not deny that, and that you do not lie to yourself if you are smoking. Really, be honest to yourself. You wouldn't want other people to be dishonest to you and lie to you, so don't do that to yourself. I don't like stories like, my grandpa smoked cigars or cigarettes or whatever until he was 95 years old and he was never really sick and he never went to hospital. Yeah, there are stories like that, but this is the absolute exception. That is not the rule. That is not what happens regularly. If you are smoking regularly, you will definitely harm your body in one way or the other. You might not develop cancer if you are lucky, but you will definitely elevate your risk to get, for example, coronary heart disease, stroke, or hypertension, things like that. And there is no way around that. So I'm a doctor, I'm a physician, and people might say, how can you even encourage people to smoke? I'm not encouraging anyone. I really strongly suggest, if you have never smoked before, leave it that way. It's the best for your health, of course. On the other hand, I don't see the point in living a very long life if that long life is full of doing boring and exhaustive stuff, always being a perfect person, only developing more virtues and really, eating plant-based and doing a lot of sports. If I do that for 10 years longer, I'm not sure if I would rather accept to die a little earlier, or even not a little, if I want to be honest. But yeah, you should make a conscious choice about that. Do you want to be healthy, to live a healthy life? Then don't smoke. Do you accept the risk of getting seriously ill? Is it worth that for you? Well, then you might want to listen to my podcast when I am talking about the pipe or cigars. I'm not only talking about smoking here. I want to make that clear. That's what I wanted to say. So be honest to yourself. Make a conscious choice. Don't deny the dangers of smoking. Don't lie to yourself. And don't live in a constant cognitive dissonance. That is not good for you. And you will not be able to enjoy it, And let me add one thing. When you are smoking regularly, eating a plant-based diet, doing sports regularly, avoiding alcohol or other drugs, or anything else that might be hazardous to you, will not diminish the risk of getting ill. There is no form of compensation for that. So once you've understood that, we're free to have a good time together. And I'm gonna tell you about smoking the pipe in Germany, what are the tobaccos that we have here that you probably don't have in other countries, about smoking cigars. It's about drinking delicious coffee, delicious tea, reading books, reading comics. You can expect all of that in further episodes. And I hope you have fun listening to my podcast. And see you soon on Strandkorbgedöns. Bye bye.